What's up, what's up, what's up? What's going on, guys? Great to the B to the T to the C here with another live stream in the middle of the game of crypto trading. I have my co-host here, Edward. Eddie, what's up? How do you make sense of what's going on right now?
Yo, what's up? Gray to the B to the C to the moon, and everybody on all the channels we're streaming to. It's your boy Daily Crypto. Man, it's hectic out here right now. Honestly, I can't say that I did expect that, but after it did happen, it's like wow. I just feel like I'm living in a game. Honestly, you're right, but right in the middle of it.
As you can see, I lost half of my hair last night because of being nuked by Gary Gensler. These guys are just extremely, extremely careless. That they have left the market in really. You would have thought that look, an ETF is coming, right? And it must be obvious. We should make money. Longing is the right thing to do. I mean, what could go wrong? And just when you thought that you had it all figured out and you had 20x, 50x leverage long, the government comes for you and make sure that you don't make any money at all. That's where we stand right now. So all my profits, most of my profits on the public trading account got wiped out last night, all of them. So I traded an account from like 17K to about 50 something thousand. The last, yeah, I think from when it got wiped out, it was like 46K. So $16,000 within an hour, boom, gone. And if you look on chain, you'll see that there is more than $8 million that have been wiped out by the SEC. So it is what it is.
Man, that's quite a
But
lot. I remember that's actually a very similar figure to where I lost one time in a liquidation, but this was some years ago around Thanksgiving. It was a similar quick pullback. Wasn't any ETF news or nothing like that, but a quick pullback, man, put me down on my luck. And ever since that day, I have changed my trading approaches tremendously. So I don't try to be aggressive, and I'm able to protect myself now against those fallouts. Like in the recent volatility we've had, I didn't really lose out in any manual trades. I've just been letting my bots do their thing. And the last bot deal I had closed was a little earlier this morning. So, they're just DCAing because that's what they do and closing their deals when they come back up. So we'll ride it out and see. Let me know whenever you're ready for me to share. I got some TA on BTC and ETH for these guys about the potential pullbacks amidst this FOMO and
but
FUD. A little bit of FOMO and a little bit of FUD. Isn't that interesting?
But let's talk about this a little bit, man. Like, do you think this was really an accident? Or this is exactly what I've always said, or what we already believe? We know that these guys are evil. They try to make us so poor. They don't want the smaller guy to stand a chance. I mean, what are the chances?
No, yeah, no,
And
I definitely don't
I
think
mean,
that SEC
and
would come back.
the
I
excuse is that, oh no, we didn't have two-factor authenticator, and they're the freaking SEC. This is a crime against humanity. I mean, at this point, if you believe that these guys, or if you think regulation is going to be done properly on Bitcoin and crypto, you wait forever. Like these guys, they have basically shown that they don't know what the hell is going on. So, but what do you think is going to happen? I see some people here. Crypto God says that they dropped us at a major resistance point, and also someone here says that they believe that we might get a delay. But I saw today that CME and other markets actually are listing tickers for all these ETF listings. So it seems like it's a done deal. Everybody from Cathy Woods and other fund managers, they're like, this is a done deal. It's 98%. We're just waiting for the moment of the announcement. What do you think? Do you think we will get another surprise and lower down? What's going to happen?
Well, I mean, as far as the ETF getting approved, I think it's just a matter of time. They're trying to, there's been multiple dates where they would possibly render a decision. And each time around those dates, we've seen heavy market fluctuations and manipulations. But the market always does tend to snap back towards technical analysis, at least in voluminous coins, especially like Bitcoin. There are definitely some altcoins that will disrespect TA with single buy or sell orders. But for the most
Those are
part,
my favorites.
yeah, that's your playground. But for the most part, Bitcoin tends to snap back to some moving averages or some other type of market structure. For right now, it does look a little bit overbought. Now, it doesn't mean that we can see prices raise higher as we've seen it happen in the past for days on end, totally months at a time. But I do think that there needs to be some type of retrace or cool off period. But with the ETF news placed where it is right now, the fake hack account on the SEC's X, formerly known as Twitter, and there's just a lot going on in the market right now to where volume is present. If there was less volume, because we've seen Bitcoin trade sideways for months and months at a time, people say, those are the boring phases or the downtrending phases where people don't really talk about Bitcoin. Everyone has other jobs and things like that. But now everyone's talking about it. There's just too much volume for it to trend sideways. I think it's going to be either another strong momentous push up to a new level where we seek and find new support, or some type of sharp push downwards to where we see price move like a sudden, because we've seen it before, 10-15% a day. The recent crash we had the other day was 7-8%. So, and it recovered pretty quickly. Now in the past 2 days we're down another 6-7%. I think it's possible to see some of those flash moves in either direction, not so much as a steady sideways movement right now.
Look, man, I burned last night, so I'm in Dubai, so my time zone is basically off. It was for me 3 a.m. when all these things were happening.
Yeah,
I
he
saw
shot me a
my
message. Remember, he shot me a DM this morning. It was yesterday for me. It was his morning. He said, "Hey, I gotta go to sleep, but if the ETF gets approved, wake me up."
yeah, bro. I was like, I knew that. I mean, it's obvious. Whatever the outcome is, we will see a major push in either direction, and you want to be there for that. And I tried to be there last night, and I saw it happen, and I added more leverage to my position, and I literally saw my soul getting lifted out of my body. I'm looking at all my screens. My balance is increasing by a lot quickly, right? Because it's right here, and it's just going 46, 47, 48. And then in the same moment, in the middle of it, right? You don't care what the price action is, you just put the more leverage, more leverage. And then immediately you saw it all come down to 44K. And then I got dissolved. I was like, okay, look, is this even real? Then I just closed some of the positions. I closed some of the positions. Some of them got stopped. That's when I texted you. I'm like, yo, I'm just gonna sleep right now. I don't want to overtrade.
I didn't know that was going on, but sheesh.
I mean, if I had to see Gary Gensler right now in the street, I don't think it would end very well.
Oh man. Yeah, you're a big
But yeah,
guy. You've been practicing boxing and going to the gym and such recently too. I've been seeing you got a fitness account going now, or is it still from Great BTC?
still the same account. I think I shouldn't be separating them. So I just, whenever I'm in the fitness stuff, I do more fitness, but I haven't been posting a lot on Instagram because I've just been trading, locked in my little hotel room here, grinding every day.
Well,
But
my
we'll be
buddy's a
back.
fight promoter here in Texas, like legally with the state. So I'll reach out to Gary Gensler and see if I can get him to contest. If he says yes, do you want to face him in an octagon in Texas?
Bro, like I would knock that guy out in 2 seconds. I have so
I'll invite
much,
him today.
I have so much anger. It just like I would just let it go off. Even if it's boxing, I'll probably end up using other things, other tools. I would end up getting a chair from the floor, hit him with it. I don't know.
We'll see if we can get into a no holds barred fight, but he'll probably want to go with the gentleman's bout. I'll draft up the contract, shoot both y'all copy, and we'll see if we can get it signed.
Nice. Let's get into some TA. What's going on in the technical analysis, and how can we leverage what's going on right now to profit? And at the end, we'll show you a strategy, you guys, that you can use to make sure that you are not being, because right now we don't know the direction. It's harder to speculate, right? So we'll give you at the end of this video, Edward will give you a strategy on how you can hedge both directions to make sure that no matter what happens, your chances of making money are much higher. So let's get going with Eddie.
All right, sweet deal. So let me get my screen up for us now. All right. So without getting too deep into the technicals of things here, I just want to talk about a couple key outlinings. So I'm going to take off my fibs for just a second and we'll be able to see some other market structure. So right here, we're looking at some areas of horizontal support and resistance. Obviously, those lines going this way. And then we have some sorts of dynamic supports, and not really any dynamic resistances right now, but we have some dynamic supports, meaning they're sloping, going at a slant or they have a gradient to them. So it's an area where people have shown interest in buying. So all these areas are either where people have shown interest, like here, they've shown interest in selling before a breakthrough. So there may be interest in buying on the way back down. So all of these areas is where you should have limit buy orders. I have limit buy orders set up all the way back down, potentially to the new range low. So when price broke over these areas here, created a new trading range. So even if price descends all the way back from where it is right now, which is still possible, that 26% move I was talking about, it could put us somewhere around that area. So you want to start having your smaller buys here, right? So price starts descending here, boom, one of your buy orders gets filled, boom, another one gets filled, one gets filled. Let's say it doesn't descend all the way. So we have smaller quantities starting here. So if you have, just for example, I'm just going to pick an easy number to work with, $1,000. You want to deploy $100 here, maybe 125 here, 150 here, and you have some larger buy orders here because you want to buy more for cheaper. But then you see price retrace through one of these zones and knock out another level. So it starts changing direction. Well, then you still have money in these orders that haven't been filled. So that's when you're going to involve your TA and see if price starts breaking up to these other ranges. You want to set your buy orders in, get them all in, maybe go in at market price, or maybe set them right below market price in a zone, depending upon what price starts to do. Because once we get that new information, we'll have to work with it. But make sure that you don't leave all your capital unused. Okay, so whatever capital you allocated to these buy orders here, make sure that whenever price retraces, observe that, and then you go ahead and get in on your entry there. So the reason that we're thinking price could retrace on Bitcoin here is because we're looking at some divergences where we see price create higher highs while RSI, namely, we'll take off some of these other indicators real quick, is showing lower highs. So that is an example of a divergence for those of you who do not know. So what we're looking at here is an example of a bearish divergence whenever we're seeing higher price action, but lower indicator action. So it's a simple instance of bearish divergence. Now, it doesn't mean that price is going to plummet back to zero, but we can expect price to retrace into this range. Now, those are the negative outlooks for Bitcoin. On the positive outlooks, we're going to be relying more on the fibs. Real quick, Gray. I know a lot of people don't like the nerd talk. Oh, man, I don't even see Gray. I think I lost him. We'll try and catch up with him after, don't know when he dipped out, but we'll try and catch up with him after this. I know he was on his cell phone, streaming from his cell phone. But and anyway, looking at the fibs real quick, go ahead and finish up our analysis. What we can see is that price just jumped over a previous swing high, which was the previous one-to-one level. So that's one thing that bothers me about the fibs is that when price makes a new high, some people will simply just drag it up like that and disrespect the old layings of where the fib levels were. But neither one of them are wrong. We do have a new high here, so it is a new low to a new high. But from previous fib, what we need to see is a confirm above that level. So buyers need to step in and show support here. If they can, then we can expect to see price shoot up towards these levels. 50K is a psychological support level. We may run into some resistance there, possibly up to 52,400. So positive and negative aspects for BTC. That's what it's looking like after we take a closer look here. Our lower range back towards the previous swing low, 32K, and our high range probably around 52K over the next week. We can expect something like that. Now, I don't think it'll drastically shoot into any one of those directions, but I'm giving you worst case scenario and best case scenario over the next 7 days or so. Let me try. I'm going to shoot Gray another invite, or at least check my DM, see if he sent me any messages. And we'll take him Questions from the comments if we have any. Let me see. Let me shoot him a message real quick. Where did you go? All right. So while I wait for him to reply, no idea what's going on. We'll see what kind of questions we have in the comments, if any. So let's see what's up here, guys. Still got an Ethereum analysis for you too as well. Hopefully I'm audible. I'll assume that I'm still streaming because it says streaming here. So I'll assume that I'm still audible. Let's go through some questions. Simon says, what's up, y'all? Saluko says, salute Gray, Tarai, welcome, sir. Crypto God, Asael, Guru. And again, guys, we're reading from YouTube. Not sure where you're watching from, but I'm usually tuned into the YouTube to check the comments there. Rugby, Willalitos, Marcel, Willalitos. I think I read that one twice. And Uzatex, Mark, welcome everybody. No one's got any questions for me yet. Greetings, Gray. Bloomers heard. Great, please. Remember my Litecoin doubling giveaway? I'm still waiting for it so I can purchase the nitrous pool. Thanks, Uzatex. Bro, go into our Discord. Do you know we have a link to our Discord in the YouTube channel or in the YouTube description? Just click that, open up a Get Support ticket. I'll be able to help you out there, man. Drop into the Get Support ticket and say that exact same thing you just said, and I'll drop in sometime later today, after the stream, of course. Rem says, I really want to learn more. Well, you're in the right place, Rem. That's what we're here to do, teach y'all about some crypto. And we got Farid. Welcome in. Mark, Simon, SEC's a clown show. All right, so no questions. Oh, there's one last one. Just popped up. Should I get into Bitcoin as a beginner now? Dude, hell yeah, man. That's a great question. So even if we are expecting retraces, you know, this kind of depends on your time frame, but I would absolutely say there's no wrong time to get into Bitcoin. Now, I personally believe that price will reach a $1 million price mark in the next 10, 15 years. So even when price gets to $100,000, it is still 10x from there. So you're going to be having a hard time accumulating BTC at $100,000 per Bitcoin, but you're going to be having a really hard time at $1 million per BTC. So if you really want to get into Bitcoin, don't wait. There's no reason to wait. There's absolutely no reason to wait because nobody can time the market perfectly. I can sit here and say all this stuff about crypto. I can look at it, I can study it, and I can predict ranges, but the truth is I don't have a crystal ball and I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow or even 5 minutes from now. Not even 5 minutes from now. So, 5 minutes from now, price can shoot up 50%. And 5 minutes from now, it can shoot down 50%. So if it shot up 50%, you'd be like, damn, Deadly Crypto said, don't buy it now. He cost me money. And then if I said buy it now and it went down 50%, you'd be like, damn, Deadly Crypto said buy it now. He cost me money. So, dual-edged sword, I say buy it now. Just wait. There's a difference in buying Bitcoin and holding it for the future and accumulating as there is trading. So if you want to trade, you need a reason to trade. You have to have a technical reason for entry, whether it be certain conditions lining up in the RSI, MACD, ADX, EMAs, nitrous bull, whatever your confirmations are, they must be met. Then you'll project an exit point based on some previous highs if you're longing, some previous lows if you're shorting. And you'll also chart some exit conditions, like if a MACD cross comes against you, if the ADX goes above 50, it could be any number of conditions. So there's a difference between trading and there's a difference in buying and holding. If you want to buy and hold as a beginner, do it right now. If you want to trade, no, don't trade. Wait, learn, practice with a demo account, practice with fake money. There's a lot that goes into trading before you can make money. So don't think that you're just going to be like, okay, I'm buying Bitcoin now, and then when the stream's over or this Friday, I'm going to be rich. It's not how it works. If you were a good trader, you could be rich by Friday, but it takes time to be a good trader. So thanks for that question. I liked it. World of Color says ETF, what will going to happen at what time? No one has any information about the ETF. Trust me, I am refreshing my phone constantly on a daily basis. I'll refresh it right now just to make sure I haven't missed anything. Still no new articles. I'm not seeing anything unless you guys are seeing something that I'm not. So, yeah, we are still waiting to see what the news is going to be. Dan Bright says prediction for the next 24 hours. All right, let's play. Looking into the next 24 hours. So we'll shoot 24 hours from now. This is how I would do something like that. So we're looking into 24 bars. So what do I think price will do in this time frame? Let's see. All right, so we have this high right here. We'll make that a swing high. And I've pre-created all of these if you're wondering why your trading view doesn't have them. These are my templates. And then we have a swing low. So we have another low here. Price may possibly trade all into, actually let me turn all this other stuff on. Trying to identify the zone right here, making it as fast as possible too for you all. All right, there's another zone back there, and there's no other recent price action here. So philosophy, basic philosophy here. If I zoom out and look to the left, there's no other recent price action history here to reasonably tell me like price hasn't been here within the past 66 days. I have no reason to believe price will go above this level just based off the recent price action history. But price was here. It was in this area just 5 days ago. It was in this area just 5 hours ago. So I have a lot of reason to believe that price could, and it was also here, 19 hours ago. So 19 hours from now, it could be back at that level. Maybe a little bit higher. Maybe a little bit higher. Price could go somewhere up here and then do something like that. But, on the flip side, it could also test right here, do something like that, and come back down, test here, and end up in this zone. So over the next 24 hours, reasonably speaking, just rational deduction, no trading, there might even be a TCE setup here. Oh, yeah, I closed on it. And there might even be a TCE setup here. But, without looking at any strategies or anything like that, just looking at the price action here and where it's recently been, judging over the next 24 hours, it could be as high as 48,000 or it could be as low as 42,200 over the next 24 hours. And if I'm going to say where I think it's going to go, it looks like price is finding support here on the 200. So we have support levels here, but price also has resistance here on the EMA. So that's the only resistance in front of this price right now on the 1 hour. There's a little bit more, maybe a little bit of selling pressure here. So if price can get above that EMA, then it's likely to travel up to here before it runs into more selling pressure. Resistance is selling pressure. It's where people show interest in selling. And there may be buying interest here at these levels down here. All right, so let me check my DM from Gray real quick, see if he's coming back. If not, then we'll just carry on. Wrap it up. Yeah. He's definitely not in the backstage because that last time I accidentally put him to the backstage because my fault. Sometimes I'll be coming on here with my mic muted and stuff because I'm not there all the time. But he hasn't messaged me back. I'm just going to assume his device crashed or whatever. We'll assume that he's not going to return. So with that being said, if you have any other questions, check in the comments or drop them in the comments. I'll check them in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and finish up on some Ethereum. But yeah, that's kind of what a 24-hour projection would look like over BTC. Let me just copy that link and should be able to share that into the chat. I'm also on YouTube on the Crypto University account. So you can take that screenshot right there from the chat, copy paste it into your browser, and you can have that for later if you want it. So, well, he didn't even say it for BTC. He said what was your prediction for the next 24 hours. But anyway, we did for BTC. All right, so now we got some Ethereum. Sorry, I got a little bit thirsty there. So on Ethereum, we have a pretty similar story, guys. If you remember about that divergence I was talking to you about, where did it go? I'm gonna close it already. But anyway, back up. You'll be able to find the divergence. We're looking at a series of higher highs here. Each one of these forming their own divergence, by the way. But overall, from peak to peak, we're looking at epic divergence. I'm getting a lot of pings on Discord. It's either Gray telling me to let him back in or a scammer. Let me just make sure it's not Gray real quick. Yeah, it is a scammer. Autobot. The auto mod bot was telling me about it. So sometimes I get a lot of pings when the bot says, hey, there's a scammer detected, because we have some pretty good scam defense. but I thought maybe it was Gray pinging me, say, hey, let me back in, but it's not. Okay, so anyway, yeah, we're looking at that major bearish divergence, but interesting dynamics here is a little bit of hidden bullish divergence. We see that by rising. But you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up. We're gonna go ahead and pull up the infographic so that we can make it make sense. All right, so here the hidden bullish is what we're observing now, as well as we have that obvious bearish divergence, right? Because we're seeing price action go up with the indicator going down. But now something that people miss over is a hidden bullish divergence whenever price is making a higher low, which means buying pressure is increasing. People are showing a raising interest in buying while the indicator is showing a lower low. It's descending. So here we can see lower low and higher low, which is giving us conflicting divergences, essentially giving us two intertwining projection ranges. So if we're looking at from the largest, the absolute furthest peak, because like I said, each one of these can be measurable, but some of them have already expired, et cetera, et cetera. So if we're looking at the largest peak there, it's 30%. So down from that high, we could be experiencing a 30% drawdown, which could put us somewhere 1650. And then, counter, we have here where the bullish divergence begins, 14%. So now they're playing against each other, and we're already moved up, well, about 13%. So 14% here would be just over that line, which is where that bullish divergence would expire. So if it breaks above that, then it's filled the bullish divergence. And if it plays below that, it's adhering to the bearish divergence. So similar to how we talked about. Now, if we go back into the, I believe the 4-hour time frame is where we looked at it earlier. So remember how we talked about these being potential buy orders or areas of support. They're also, if you're looking to short, these are also take profit targets. So that's kind of what Gray was mentioning earlier, how you can make money on both ways. Set your buy orders for down low. That's what we were talking about earlier. Now back to Ethereum. Set your buy orders for down here. And if you're shorting, you can also short these targets down here. So obviously your first target is going to be along that trend line, and then take profit targets all the way down here. Once you decide to close that short, you just put some profits into the long, or your spot orders are being filled, you're accumulating, vice versa. There's 100,000 different ways to trade the markets. But in any case, these are the downside targets we're looking for on Ethereum based off of previous price action history. So we're looking at potentially price moving down to, based off of the divergences, the 200 EMA would put us at 1900, back to 2K. That would be plausible. I don't think price would dip down below 2K and sustain trading below that level for a long period of time. Flash crash prices may include lows to 1612, so get you some good buy orders down at those levels just in case. And then for the upside, remember, we don't really have any recent price action history, so we have to look a bit further back. And looking a bit further back, we're seeing some of these levels here, which is where price is currently trading, or the next low would be up here, which is around 2.6. And then after that, we're not really seeing many other highs. We have a small high here and a small high here, and then the next major resistance is going to be up here. So if price can manage to keep trading above these levels, meaning it shows support here, just because we're seeing these big divergences doesn't mean that big crash has to come. I'm just saying it's possible that it's there. We need to look out for it, but it doesn't mean it's going to occur. If we can see price sustain trading above these levels, meaning buyers show support, which is what the term stands for, then we can expect to see price trade higher into these levels, which will be the next major area of resistance. So upside and downside for Ethereum there. We'll take a couple more questions and we'll go ahead and wrap it up since I lost my host, Gray, to the B, to the C, to the moon. What kind of questions do you guys got for me? We'll check out the YouTube comment section one more time. Drop your comments, drop your questions. We'll see if we can get knocked out. Where are we at there? ICPTA. Real quick. I'll run through ICPTA. ICP, USDT. I think we actually got some type of sponsorship with them recently, with Crypto University. So I'll go ahead and look at the, I'll look at the buy bid pair, just in case I want to trade it. All right, cool. Recent pump. Also seeing a little bit of divergence here. Bearish, bullish. Yeah, I don't know if your eyes can see that right away. That's that stuff I'm talking about, where if you train your eyes and you practice your TA, you'll be able to see things like that pretty quickly. So most of the time, I can see things pretty quickly. What's happening? Oh shoot, got some other TA way back here. Haven't seen this in a while. Cool, cool. Yeah, right now it looks like it's ran up quite a bit. I'd be cautious trading into it right now. We have swing high right here. So this is obviously selling pressure. We have a couple swing lows here. There is a mid-range low, and then here's your swing low. So buyers may show support all the way here up until the 200 EMA. That's the mathematical moving average. ADX is exhausted. If you look back in moments of this where the ADX is above the 50, that's why I use it as one of my exit conditions. It doesn't really stay in that area for long, especially on this asset. So every asset's going to be different. But here we can see it never really has even reached the 50 as for Bybit on the daily time frame. Now, just for a quick reference sake, dropping into smaller time frames, clear my throat there. Dropping into some smaller time frames just to point out where the ADX, because it doesn't matter what time frame you're on, the ADX goes up, it comes down, and resets over and over and over. So here we see, how much time did it spend there? That's measurable data. Just for one example, how we measured things earlier, that's 21 hours. So here we see 37 bars, 37 hours. So far we're looking at 21 to 37 hours, 14 hours. So 14 to 37, 38, 14 to 38. So that's about the range, that it could stay there. So here's a little bit longer, 52. Some of the longest ranges is what I'm measuring now to get the best spreads. And then here again, we see in this whole area, price never even made it there. So jumping back out to where we are now, what does that mean? Well, on the macro trend, we'll have the hourly time frames and smaller, we'll have different trends. But right now, what we're seeing is the ADX is a little bit exhausted on the daily time frame. So we might see a consolidation or a reversal. So the trend that was present was an uptrend. That trend is losing momentum. What happens afterwards is a reversal or consolidation. So it's possible price could consolidate in these levels before taking off again, or it just flat out dumps and goes to poo-poo. With the bull run coming ahead, I would expect some type of consolidation like so. Just for a quick reference again, not saying it's going to do exactly this, but maybe something close to this. So we saw price came up here. So yeah, they're pretty similar right now. Oops. Where's the fucking trash can? There it is. All right. Yeah. So this one is about right here. See what I mean? Not exactly the same. All right, not exactly, but something like that. Possibly. That's what we could be looking at. So there's a quick TA on ICP. Be careful. Don't get your feelings hurt. Don't overtrade. If you're going to trade, there's your trading range. You can short down to here and then long from here to the top. Shorting from here down, longing from here up, unless that gets broken. What are the kind of questions we got? I'll run through them real quick. Fairly Pro says, hi, Ed. I opened a ticket on the Discord server regarding my nitrous bull indicator. You might want to help me out with that later or something. Thank you. Hurley Pro, I see your comment, bro, and I will help you out with that later or something. Definitely today. Give me a little bit. I got some things to do. After this, I'm going to grab a bite to eat, and then I got some other things to work on. I have 2 privates this afternoon, but I promise you, I'll check into the ticket. Make sure you have your TradingView username in there for me and proof of purchase. That way, if I can make it as fast as possible. So if you have that, I'll be able to drop it right away. So yeah, give me your TradingView username in that ticket and proof of purchase, please. Construct Wall says Dogecoin price prediction in the next few days. All right, hold on. Let me make sure. Fareed says BTC shooting up. We'll get an eye on that real quick. And it is having a nice little shoot. Probably looks better on the 1 minute. You still hating on XRP? I'm not a hater, bro. I've traded XRP before and made money. Like, I'll trade it. It's just not a very good token. It serves the banks. It doesn't serve the people. That's not what crypto's for. and it has little price action history of ever sustaining trading over $1. So yeah, it's had some nice percentage moves and all that, sure, but it can't even like the US dollar is a trash ass currency, and it can't even maintain the value of that. So I'm not a hater, bro. I'm just a realist and a statistician. It's a bad token by many measurements. It's a bad token. So that's worth holding. Get you some. We'll see. All right, so we got a Dogecoin prediction and AVAX. Those are going to be our last two guys. I'll speed run Dogecoin and AVAX. I'm pretty sure I have something on Dogecoin I'll be able to talk about. So let me hit that one real quick. Those are going to be our last two requests. Anytime I ask for questions, I usually just get TA requests, but all good. No biggie. So look, zooming out here, we can see we had a couple of downtrend lines, selling pressure. Price broke above that. We had a little bit of an uptrend. I was just zooming out to see the larger scheme of things. Price did agree. There were sellers here again. Oh, I didn't get that. Still a high range, right? So yeah, there were sellers here again based on that range. They stepped up, showed it like, hey, it's possibly going to be, when we were in this moment here, there's like, hey, there's going to be some resistance there. A lot of people decided to take profits, and the profit taking continued. A little bit of hopium, and maybe people were waiting to see if price was going to break out of this because we had a nice little wedge here, something of a wedge anyway. My damn snapping won't stop snapping. So something of a wedge here, and people were waiting to see if it was going to break out to the positive, and it broke to the downside because normally we would expect an upward break from here. So a lot of people just got their teeth pushed in a bad position. Bearish situation, you shouldn't really look to hold on for that. When you see a bearish cross, you should not be looking to long. And it looks like there might be support here along 200 possibly, but right now what we're seeing is that ADX is on a upward slant, meaning it has momentum. So the downtrend has momentum. Now, if you want to look on the smaller time frames and again wait for that to reset, like right here, there is no momentum. Here's where the strength of it was. So on the 1 hour, if it starts to pick up and we're going upwards, then maybe we can expect to see some other positive direction. But I like to start on the daily time frame because that's where kind of you eliminate some of the noise, because that analysis I gave on BTC for the next 24 hours, it's only good for 24 hours. Things change so quickly. So that's why I look at Dogecoin or all these other tokens mostly on larger time frames for you, at least the daily. So yeah, Dogecoin here, we got our swing high and resistance up in this zone, and support's going to be down here. I would count on this support if price would descend into this area. So we should definitely have, definitely have buy orders here. If price slams into that area, you want to accumulate at 5 cents a Dogecoin, it's not a bad buy. So here's our upwards and lower ranges for now with a swing low right here. As long as price doesn't break this swing low, then we can consider upwards price action possible. But if price breaks this low, then pretty much look for accumulating at these lower prices, because that's there's not much in between here in that range. So there's Dogecoin and AVAX really quick. Oh yeah, what I think about Dogecoin, it's a shit coin. Elon Musk promotes it, so I don't know. It bit me in the butt. I've always thought it was a shit coin. The creators made it a shit coin on purpose. Elon probably knew that and just picked it up to be an asshole because that's what he does. So it doesn't really have any value. If Elon sends Dogecoin to the moon, then it's probably gonna rally up again in the future. So similar for XRP. You can trade it, but I don't really think it has any long-term value, especially with the way that new currencies brought into circulation at an alarming rate, where it doesn't really, it's not, the supply is fucking infinite. I can't think of the word right now. But anyway, scarce. There we go. It's not scarce. So right here we have a little bit of resistance. If that gets broken, then price is easily gonna. This looks like a good trade opportunity, honestly. It's on the daily time frame, so we'll have to check and see, some other things. But right here, there's an easy TP target. If this thing breaks up, and here would be a good stop loss if price retraces. But if it does break this, then it's possibly going to go down to 100, 200 EMA. Maybe right about here too, because that's where that previous high was. And let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, there's not really a lot of structure to this one, so you're going to have to rely more so on indicators here. Not much structure going on aside from this wedge. So if this wedge breaks up, like I said, trade up there. And if not, then there's maybe going to be some resistance here. Probably comes back down. Maybe you can long from here, something like this, with a stop loss right here, long entry right here. But that's quite the hell of a stop loss. So, you know, best entry for this would probably be to wait for a breakout, since we don't really have a confirmed area of support down here. Wait for a price to come, do something like this, and then do a retest and shoot up. If it goes aggressive straight up, because sometimes it does that. I think I have a. I thought I had something quickly to show for that. Yeah, cool. Link falling wedge, no retest. All right, so yeah, so right here, sometimes like we're expecting it to come here, have a breakout, retest, and we want to get on that retest. Sometimes there is no retest. It just goes straight through, breaks all those targets. So you have to be, and then continues to go. So you have to be paying attention. You can set up an alert or something like that. But the best entry would be right here, right along the breakout line as it's breaking out or after a retest. Down here, you're starting to put a little bit more risk into it because this isn't a reliable support. It's below the EMAs. There haven't been multiple touches along a singular point. We've only got 2 there. Even if we were to classify it as a zone, it's a big if on that zone. So the better entry for a long, if this one gets missed or if this one doesn't come through and we get resistance there, the better entry would be down here, then hoping for a later breakout. And that's going to greatly change the dynamics of that trade for you. So there we go. Did all the ones I said I was going to do. Thank you guys very much for having me out. I really don't know what happened with Gray. Still hasn't hit me back, so I'm just going to assume he lost connection or whatever. I know whenever we got started, he was on his iPhone. So he's always traveling, but we're always trying to give you guys the best show we can. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you guys at the next one.